Welcome back to another Fast API slash I don't know, just coding random things video. This is I think last video we did some lead code questions, right? Not that we did some lead code question, and I have been a bit back on learning Fast API because to be very honest, I'm a bit like lost in it, and I think the next step would be to just apply for the open library, open source community thing, and maybe that will just push me enough to learn about it. I'm a bit scared because again, it's a bunch of smart people from amazing industries who are putting in their time to do this open source. So I need to make sure that I'm committing myself to it, right? So I'm not wasting anyone's time, so to speak. But yeah, today we'll be doing some fast API. And again, this has to, I think we'll put some brown noise, obviously, you know the mix, put some brown noise.
I tried everything coffee, and binaural beats, but nothing stuck until.
Cool. So that's there. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's just locked. Cool. Yeah, so we'll be doing some testing related stuff as usual, which we have over here. And the one thing that I really wanted to do is that our last commit message will tell you as well if I do something like git status. If I do something like git log one line graph, right? You'll see the last log we had was yeah. So the last what we had is to do test logging users in this, right? So that's the only thing we wanted to do really. Let me create. Um, okay, interesting. I was like, I'm not able to see WSL. Yeah. Anyway, so what we wanted to do is we wanted to test how. So this is essentially our fixture for our client. So what I wanted to test was whether we could test this, like the login aspect of it. So I think it's auth. Yeah, so it's a login. So I don't think it's the only thing we have. Do we need that? I don't think it really matters, does it? I mean, we got just something like login and you can remove this pretty much, right? That shouldn't change anything. So as far as I can see, okay, this is some random. Yeah, that's some random thing. Let's open this. Yeah, that shouldn't really change anything. I hope, hopefully. Let me just run this server real quick to check that hasn't checked anything. If I do fast API dev app main, let's see that it works. It should spin up a server. Now, if I go to my this, if I choose my development environment to be dev, and let's try login in. So this is the login page. Let's see if this works. A given email does not exist. Let's sign up this user. Let's send this. Okay, and if I send this, we should get a error. Okay, so that works great. So right now our because that's like the only single thing, so I didn't really want to change that. So I feel like we should. I mean, sure, I want someone to like track it, start from scratch, so to speak. Um, what I feel like we should do is we should make the database read the schema file. Um, the moment we open it, right? Just to make sure, because like this is a schema file, right? This contains everything, and I would assume the user is not creating it. I'm assuming it's like a fresh database, right? What I mean by that is if I do something like SQLite 3 app to do.db, and if I do dot schema, and if I do dot schema dot read schema dot SQL, um, cannot open dot read um, how to make SQLite 3. I know that's how you do it. Read a schema dot file. I think that's how you do it, right? Um, है तो है तो यहाँ पे ही तो है to do dot db है to do dot db है and then schema dot sql. Now obviously you guys will say to have it in some place other than that, but yeah, sure. It is literally over here. What do you want me to do? Right, it's literally over here. um what is this? Just space there. What is wrong over here? SQLite 3 2.db dot read schema.sql. Okay, now it reads it. To make SQLite read the schema file. But the thing is, the issue with this is because we have get db in every as a parameter, so to speak, it will pretty much run that code every time, right? But what I wanted to do, right, I want to make it so it runs only once on the initialization of the project, and after that it's going on, because we need to make sure that we have the structure in the database, so to speak. Yeah, if not exists, I think my pass hai. If not exists, yes. I think they don't know that. um, I think this is an important thing we want to worry about. Yeah, so right now my current code structure is we have a connection which is depends on getDB, and getDB is pretty much just runs this. It connects with the database on this DB path, so it essentially connects with in this directory into this database. To integrate this one-time schema, you can integrate project directory. You just need to keep your root and just add the lifestone fucking directly in your. Okay, interesting. Okay, read the schema file. Okay, it seems like I just have to do it on main. Um, 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 main. Wait a minute. Exit कर दो यहाँ से ls. Yeah, so main does contain it, right? um, because over here this is db. Okay, this works. This works. So we do init db. Hmm. Okay, let's see if this works. So I guess the first thing we'll do is from db.util import. Okay, I'll just import db path, to be honest with you. And so we run this function, so to speak, and we'll say schema file is equal to schema.sql, right? Um, schema schema SQL, great. And we, okay, let me just copy paste this code. I don't like this. I don't like doing this, but this will be important. I don't like doing this, trust me, but we have to just copy paste this code. Um, Seems like I have to also do import OS, which is sad. I also have to import SQLite, so import SQLite 3. Let's take this and let's just paste it over here, right? So if um, right connects to it, um, okay, 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 so this is fine. This runs. Um, okay, this pretty much initializes our database, and now we need to have a fast API lifespan. To have a context manager, so from context lib import asynchronous context manager, and we essentially just wrap it around this, which is our fast API lifespan. Okay, okay, so this is our lifespan, and okay, so that's cool. And now we'll essentially just do something like life span is equal to life span, and routers, so I have made, right? Yeah, so now my existing db.util, what this will do is now it will say something like generator. Again, just generator. Where are you getting this generator from? From typing, you're getting this. From typing import generator, and so we just do generator. I do not uh, connection. Yeah, obviously keep a connection, or can give none, or can give none. Uh, okay. Okay, so if I have coded this properly, or so to speak, if AI has coded this properly, this will be our schema.file. Um, as of now, will be present in the same level as this file, which is main.py, right? And we will essentially just do warning is not found. Okay, so if this works, if I run this, let's see what happens. Okay, nothing wrong is happening. Schema file is not found. Um, okay, I think the reason why it's not being found is saying the schema file um, is the reason why I feel like it's not being found is that it's schema.sql and os.path.join paste schema.sql. Wait, let's do um, something like this. Does this work? I feel like I'm dead. Oh, it did work. Okay. Yes. Let's go. GG's. So this is ugly as hell, but it's the best we got. So this kind of works, seems like. Right. So we get OS path. Again, I don't like this that we're taking this from here to there. We would want to do something there itself. But yeah, anyhow, I mean, I could copy paste this entire thing. But yeah, this is very finicky, right? Like, to be honest, this is very finicky. I don't just like I would most likely do something like this because that's not good code to write. To be honest, like that's not good code. And cool. So it seems like everything is working. Let me just uh, let's run this one more time. Let's see what's happening. Okay, everything is seems to be working. It says initialization data sales schema initialization. Okay, so what that means is now I should be able to just come in up over here and say sign up. Okay, it's already in use, which is a great thing. I want to see that. Okay, let's see if I have not breaking any existing functionality. So let's do py test. Okay, so it's passed all the tests. Great. So yeah, if we have achieved this, let me read through this. Okay, like I understand what this is. Like we check if this exists. If it does not found, we return this out. Then if that means it exists, we connect to the DB path. The funny thing is we don't check if the DB path exists, and we're like, ah, DB path exists, karta hi hoga. Um, right? Like I mean, it would make sense if we say not os dot path dot exists DB path and something like let me just take this, right? And we say something like um, SQLite database with path this, right? And this part would be something like DB path, I would assume DB path um, not found, and then we just return this, right? Like I would assume that would make sense. Like if I run the test, will that run? Like I would assume that's what you do that, right? Yeah, so the database um, schema initialized successfully. Um, yeah, so I mean, I would assume they would have it, right? Anyhow, so Pythonic way of um, executing the schema.sql file for SQLite. There has to be some better way of doing this. Um, okay, so it tells something like this. So use path for clean cross-platform file. Interesting. So we have a scheme path, which is path to our schema.sql. Read the schema file content successfully, safely. So we have a schema script with schema path dot read text encoding this. Establish connection and execute using context manager as um I mean ठीक है, it's not like uh, do I like this? Not really. I mean, this could have been much better. This could be something like schemas. Okay, let's see if this works. Schema script is equal to path. Ah, yeah, okay, never mind. This is better for now. This is fine. And this does that. Great. Um, what do we mean by lifespan and generator and all those concepts and even yield keyword for that matter, I would say. The normal programming when a function uses return is it quits completely. It hands over the result, packs it back, and forgets everything it was doing. Yield is different. It's like a pause button. The analogy. Think of a library book rental. If the function uses return, it would give you a book, crazy, burn down the library, and force you to build a new library next time you want a book. With yield, the librarian hands you the book, pauses the time, waits for you to read it, and when you bring it back, time unpauses so they can bring it back. Database get db, right? As they said, sorry, get db over here. Get db opens the connection, it hits yield, it hands the connection to your web route and pauses. The web route uses the connection to fetch, post, and finishes. Control automatically goes back to get db, unpauses, and runs the code after the yield, which is con.close. So that is what I was understanding. It yields the con, and during the time it's yielding it, if there's any error, it will, regardless of it, if it comes back to it, the error will push to it, it will say okay, when regardless of the error, it will just close the connection object. What is generator? Because your function uses yield keyword, Python automatically turns that function into a generator. A normal function calculates everything all at once and returns a giant box of data. A generator is a factory that gives you one item at a time exactly when you ask for it. The analogy: imagine a vending machine normal function. Oh wow, okay. Hmm. Interesting. Okay, so this is just a fancy way of saying कि before we build the connection, as we run this server, we will run this code, which is essentially init.db, and this essentially makes sure कि the schema file is written. Hmm. And then this is a generator which returns an SQLite connection. None, none. Okay. Um, it's actually good explanation. Okay, cool. That was a good change. Let's see if I run my test. Like if I run my CI/CD, what happens? That would be fun, right? So let's turn this off. Git status. It's a git add. It's a very long git message right now. Added. What should I say over here? Um, added lifespan. So to which allows me to run to read this schema.sql file before the server before the server starts. I think that's a good Git message. I think anyone looking at the Git message will be like, yes, I fully understand what that person was trying to do. And let's see if our CI/CD pipeline agrees with our statement or not. Our CI/CD. So this is essentially just take the code, install Python, the specific version that we have, um, right, and run it through a bunch of tests. Upgrade pip, obviously, run PyTest, log into Docker Hub, and obviously build the image from scratch, the one image that we have. So this will essentially, this is our Docker file. This is what the image is essentially of, and this will just give us, okay, use this .env file, use this app.ro, and to be honest, we don't really need this. To be very honest with you, we don't really need this. I think it builds an image. It builds an image as a user pre-existing, and this will build and push. I think I have some cache. I have made some cache changes. I did. I think I did. Yes. It's over here. I mean, to be honest, the hardest part was for this was key. This part and I mean, honestly, this part changed. So it had this part wasn't that tough to run, to be honest. But something failed. No, okay, it ran for only this many minutes. And if you go to Docker Hub, so this will essentially this has access to my Docker account and just pushes this image to my Docker Hub register, so to speak, and there it can find out, which is great. So sign in. Great. Yeah, I originally was making this video to, I guess, yeah, so you see last published was like 1 minute ago. And yeah, so you see the last was pushed was like 1 minute ago. And if you see this latest that we have, we see, okay, wow. Yeah, so you can see the code that was running. Interesting. Yeah, so this was last pushed. Great. GG's. And yeah, well, that's very good actually. This is actually a good life change decision that we have made. Let's do fast API this. It's much better. Yeah, let's try to get our posts. No posts we have. Getting a new post. सच्ची में कोई post नहीं है हम लोग के पास. अभी check करूँ. Um, mm, to be honest, you'd like to make this environment variable. To be honest with you, because सबका schema file का नाम अलग हो सकता है. So sure, select star from post नहीं है. ठीक है. Am I looking at the wrong post, so to speak? क्या कोड रन किया? ये कोड रन किया तो क्या दिखा रहा नहीं है क्या मुझे? ओके. Okay, ठीक है. Let's see if I close my server and if I turn this on. If I now get all posts, I should get this post, right? I mean, that's the bare minimum, right? Because now I started my server from scratch. If I run this, okay, ठीक है, learn. Okay, ठीक है, cool. Yeah, so I think one thing like we would want to do is come to environment variables. Do we really need to put our TV name in an environment variable? I don't think so. I don't think so, chat. I don't think so. Anyhow, let's try to work on testing part now. What's over here? These optimizations are good, to be honest. I mean, this is not an optimization. This is like a necessity. But anyhow, let's try to work on the users part. So our job is to now make an test new user. This will be actually like a test auth authorized user or test something like logged, not logged in, but test signed in user essentially. Like the person has um right test. I mean, okay, I mean, one better was like test authorized, but that is not the right word, right? Because the user will authorize based on the credential that we give it. So our actual user is giving it something, but something, yeah, for the namesake, I'll keep this. And yeah, let's read through this.
And you can see how we can set the scope right here. You just do scope equals and then whichever one you want. So if we go back to here and we see this fixture, right, we could say, since the default is function, it's equivalent of doing scope equals function. And the same thing goes for the session, the database one as well. So these are going to run and get destroyed every single function. So at the end of the function, we're going to delete this test client, and then we're going to create a brand new one for the next one, which causes our database to get wiped and destroyed. So if we want our login user to be able to access what was created here, we could theoretically change the scope.
Chat, go hell with this. I have an idea, chat. Okay, I have an idea. And this idea might be completely shit, utterly shit. But I think our chat, this idea might just work. Okay, and I don't know if anyone is watching as this, but um, this just might work. This just might work, chat. Okay, so the idea would be that we want to create an authorized user, right? And if I just come over here, so yeah, so it's like user login, right? And user login will contain this. And if you see what we do actually, it's a bit of a cheat sheet. If I come to auth, try to see what we're doing, let's say select password hash from users where email is this, right? Then we verify the password, right? Obviously, what we can do here is essentially what we can do is we can make a connection object. So we can say con is equal to sql like 3 dot connect with our test db dot path, right? And we make a cursor object which is con dot cursor. Okay, watch, hear me out, right? And we can create a thing called like authorized user for like user. Again, to be honest, this is kind of sketchy and it's kind of like hacky, but who cares, right? So let's just say something like going to line of authorized, I mean not authorized, but okay. We'll just say something like, and we'll actually, yeah, so we'll say user login. And where is it, chat, where is it? Okay, yeah. So here we'll say user login, and we will say email to be test user at gmail.com, and password to be something. But okay, wait, I did something wrong though. It takes in the user login. Ah, okay. Okay, chat. I think I know what to do. I know what to do. Let's this thing I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, some password like that. Right? This is an authorized user. Now watch what I do. I can do something like cur.execute insert into users. And what can we insert into users, so to speak? इसको बंद कर देते server को. My server is giving me like heart attack. Yeah, so what we can essentially do over here is better. It says exit this and we'll do sqlite3 test.db and we'll do .schema. You see our users. Why am I looking over here also? Like, if I do something like schema.sql, I will look at users. We have ID, email, and password. Yeah, so what I can do is insert into users values. Um, so what I'm inserting into the users, we're inserting email and password hash, right? So I think that's not the right way to do this. I think the right way is something like insert into users email and password hash. Sorry, bash लिख दिया मैंने. Bash trauma. Yeah, email and password hash, and we need to put some values in this obviously, and I'll just use this question mark. Yeah, so obviously we can say authorized to be authorized user email, and then I can say something like, and here's the funny part. Now you should not be doing this. You should not be doing this, but because I'm a bit sneaky like this, the way I attend this is actually so sketchy. And it's so sketchy like that. I think it's in DB util. Oh, no, it's in security. It's at its in security. How do I read security? Hey, like from app.security import, and from security I can import something like hash password. So I can say um, hash password, right? And I think what I can call over here is, if I look at the sign up page, I can get some ideas. Um, users, yeah, it does hash the password essentially. I mean, pretty much यही तो code है. Yeah, I mean this is the essential code, to be honest. Um, right, so we can say hash password authorized. Can the autocomplete work, or am I supposed to like write this on myself? Um, ठीक है, done. And I think I have to write commit statement over here. Yeah, I have to do connection dot commit, right? So I have to do something like con dot commit. ठीक है. So authorized user is user login, and then I can just pretty much say return, and then I can do return authorized. Right, so we have authorized user, which is this is some user, we're getting some random user, doesn't really matter. We're connecting with the data database, we are opening a cursor object, we execute this statement, we commit it, and then we turn this, and obviously you have to close this as well. So con dot close, right? Also, should I just wrap this around like statements? Like I feel like that should be it, to be honest, because कुछ भी हो सकता है that, to be honest. I know what, fuck this, I'm gonna do that today. um, um, and I think this is likely to work over here. I mean, to be honest, ये दे ही दो यार, just in case कुछ भी हो जाए, return authorized user तो दे ही दो, कुछ ना हो तो गलती ही हो जाएगा. So try this. We will. Oh, okay, that's wrong. That's wrong. My bad. Yeah. So try this. Obviously, close it and then return the authorized user. So chat, if this worked, this could pretty much mean a lot to me. So return around this. Sorry, what am I saying? Um, change around this, and I can say something like test. Or can the autocomplete work, or am I supposed to email, right? And I could do change around this, and I can say test author. Okay, and if this works, I'll be very happy. I'll be happy. Let me see if this will work. If this works, I'll be very much happy. Let's see. Let's just try that. Let's just try running that, to be honest. Oh wow. Oh my god. What the hell just happened? I know what the issue is. So the issue is essentially that कि this is the issue. It's going to users जहाँ पे वो है नहीं, right? It's essentially not there. Um, right? It should go to test.tp. Okay. Um, the most dumbest way to solve this, um, okay, we have a connection object already made. Um, um, and it especially says key none type is not subscribed. Yeah, that's the reason why it didn't work. Yeah, so I think I can just copy paste this. Okay, let's do this. Okay, wait, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, let's do something like this. Actually, you know what? Let's take something like and let's do something like that. Okay, cool. Select IT. Delete, change around this from users where email is equal to user credential email, right? And यहाँ पे ये cursor object है and fcciw cursor, right? I will want to close this, and I think what I could do is somewhere over here say something like result 0. Again, sketchy at best. Okay, first of all, I'm so scared now because what if I have broken functionality? Does this? Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have to check all the test applications now. Let me just check my application real quick. Does it still do the login? Oh, मतलब my server on ही नहीं है. My bad. My bad. My server's not on. My bad. My server is not on. Anyhow, let's try to log in. Oh, it did give us. Okay, fine. Cool. Let's try to sign up. Okay, apparently it's still working, which is great. Cool, chat. It's still working. Um, cool. So, okay, that works. And so obviously when the user, right, there's obviously a token that gets generated, right, so to speak. And as you can see in the auth, the only thing we return is a token. So what we could do is, if you do something very funny, is like, okay, why did I stop that? Let's just stop this because I'm a bit scared. If I do something like this, if I do the S flag, so it shows me all the print statements. It says 200 and it says, okay, yeah, because, right, so if we just remove that, and what we can do is we can now call this, um, yeah, so now this will actually check the token that we get. Yeah, okay. Um, Pretty much yes. And if I even print JWT token, because why not, right? Yeah, so I get the JWT token. That's great. Wow, that was fun.
The module instead.
Uh,
And I could change this for both. And so now what happens is um, at the start of this module, when we start running the tests here, we're going to run the fixture, right? Because the test root is calling it. So we'll run.
Great. We could do multiple stuff, I guess. Now, you could say something like, according to the lines of, you could say something like assert JWT token dot, what does it has? Token type, yeah. So token type is equal to bearer. Right, so to speak. Yes, that passed. Great. So yeah, man, that was cool. That was kind of cool. That was relaxed, chill. Nothing can go wrong here, but still, still, I'm being vigilant, right? And now if I just run the full suite of my PyTest, uh, yeah, there's still a hack.
Run the fixture at the beginning, and we're going to just do it once, right? So then we'll call this one, which doesn't really do anything. We'll then create the user. But since we don't ever run the fixture again, we never end up running this session either. So we don't end up dropping our database or our tables. So we'll actually keep that same fixture, and then we'll run through all of our tests, and only at the end will we destroy that fixture. So we have essentially access to all of to our database for the entire module in this case.
I think the use case of yield is that you could pretty much, the way return works is just, okay, it gets out and the function is doomed. The thing with yield is you could have some, starting code, you can yield something out, and then you can run some, finishing up code. So I think, yeah, that's great. That's how the DB code works.
And so now if I actually run this, right, you can see all of our tests pass because the fixture will last the entirety of the module. I could even use package or session, both of them would have worked. But this creates a little bit of an issue because this means that this test is dependent on this test completing. So if this test fails, then obviously this test is going to fail. And it actually creates issues because if I move this to the top, right, and I accidentally move my login user to before test create user, then this is going to break our tests once again because we need to create the user before we log in the user. And so in general, what we've done is bad practice. You don't want to make tests be dependent on other tests. Each and every single test needs to operate and run independently. They should not be reliant on other tests. If they are, it is not a valid test and you're doing it wrong. You want to make sure that all tests can run independently of one another. So what we've done so far with this little hack of changing the scope to be module is not a good solution. So in the next video, we'll take a look at what we can do to kind of overcome this limitation, this issue, so that we can make our login test case independent of our create user test case. Okay, guys, I wanted to make sure that we really did understand what scopes are when it comes to fixtures, because I feel like I didn't do that good of a job explaining it. So hopefully this video will help explain it a little bit more. And all I'm going to do is under our session fixture, I'm going to just do a little print statement right here that says my session fixture ran. And this is, you know, I'm recording this video in the future, so I've got all of the other tests that we're going to cover done already, and I've kind of broken it out into test posts. This is testing all of our post path operations. We've got one for users and one for votes. And I'm going to show you guys what happens when we use the default scope, which is it's scoped per function, right? This is the equivalent of doing scope equals function, which means that we're going to run this fixture for every. So that's cool and all, but I want to do a little bit more validation for the login user route, just to make sure that, you know, port token inside our test users, they can say is dot j, right? And then when we get a token, I want to actually validate it. So how do we do that? All of the logic is right here. So we're going to decode the token, and we're going to make sure that the user ID is within that token. And that's all I'm really going to do at that point. So I will copy this. And we have to import JDO in the login underscore res under the access token property. And then we have to pass in the secret key as well as settings. Same thing, code it. All right, and so is it going to, and so it's going to return, oh, it looks like I did not, no, it should be in there. So since we grabbed the response, the ID should be there. So we can just call this test underscore user, and then we can just call ID. So I think that's a little bit more of a valid check because it's actually decoding the token.
We can do that. We can do that. I mean, to be honest, I think we can do that. I mean, we can do that. Um, hmm. Uh, okay. 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 Should we really need to do that? To be honest, I never understood why we did like really Python. Like, why did we use Jose? You know? What is this? Why do I see this guy's face? He's so happy. Uh, yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, I saw this one. I was like, why do we do anything like anything else than Jose? What do you mean? Like, this is again JWT itself. Um, okay. Yeah. So how do we encode this? We say secret, and algorithm is this algorithm. Can I use this though? That would be interesting. Let's see if we could do this. Yeah, so that is fun because this is the first time I'm doing this. My requirements or takes will be like shocked. They'll be like, "Arey, kya kar raha hai? What is he doing?" Okay. Can I do like pip list? Okay, pip list to requirements.txt. Is that the way it is done? No, pip list is not allowed because it's unnecessary visual formatting. Okay, pip freeze. I remember pip freeze. Good friend of mine. Pip freeze, yeah. So pip freeze. Um, yeah, requirements. Yeah, so now it's pretty much new, and you have this, which is much better. Uh, Great. You know, this again because I like. Um, Great chat. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so now that we have that, let's do a very simple. I mean, why do we have a JWT error? Does this have some JWT error functionality that I don't know of? Okay, so we do. Okay, say okay. Import JWT. That should work. Okay, so now our job is to essentially just encode it. So we can do something like return JWT. Ah, wait, this actually works. What the hell? Um, can I? Okay, wait. Let me see if I could do something. This will eventually will make my compiler scream for help. Yeah, the decode wise it's same. So decode 6x. Is this a issue? Because algorithm um where settings? Where settings? Yeah. Oh, config.py. Um yeah, so this takes from env. This somehow still works. Interesting, but this takes in so like I would do something like this. Like so can my autocomplete work or like I'm always alone, bro. My autocomplete is not like um hmm. Yeah, so credential exception JWT error. So error exception. Okay, exceptions. What do we have? Uh, oh wow. Uh, I mean, we kind of decode it though. So right. So I could say something like JWT dot exceptions dot decode error. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that should work. So I don't need this anymore. Fine, we have improved our JWT token stuff. It's great. Um, okay, just to make sure I'm sane, let's run PyTest. Seems to work, chat. No reason to not trust it. Let's run Devin, man. Right. Let's do some auth. Let's do some auth, chat. Let's do some auth. Yeah, so let's do some auth. Let's try to do some sign up. See if that works. Great. If so, let's try to do some login. Works. Let's look at our chat. Does work. And if we were to do some stuff that let's try to delete a post. Let's try to get out post. First of all, 7. Let's try to delete this 7. Deleted, and we try to get out posts. No post. Now, in order to create a post, you need to give me authorization. Let's see if the authorization really works. And then get out posts. It finally works, dude. Great, great. Um, okay, so in this, I can actually return the ID, and I'll show you how that's done. So first thing, let me just do something. Let me do something like get status, get add um, used used pyjwt instead of Jose for JW encode and decode operations. Skip CI get push get push. So this should not do the CI for me. Please don't do the CI. Let's see. It should not do the CI. Yeah, that doesn't do the CI and cool. Righty. So something like auth. Um, users बताया I think. Yeah, if I do returning, returning ID, so to speak. Um, right, let's do something like returning ID. Um, and we just do this. Um, good. This user ID. Right. And instead of giving it a user login, I will essentially do this something like my email is equal to test user at gmail.com. Now you guys can say I can make a pydantic model for this, but I don't want to do pydantic model waxing. If you want to do it, you can do it, but uh, and I know what the issue is. Uh, now that issue is fixed, and right. So over here, what I can do is I can say something like email, right, and then I can do also. Can the autocomplete work? Man, I'm fighting against autocomplete. And how to add a new key and value here to a dict in Python. Oh, yeah, that's simple. Cool. Actually, that's not how it's done, if I'm correct. Um, right, so yeah, so you would have to do something like cursor fetch 1. Let's do something like cursor fetch 1 0. So I have something like user info of some sort, and do user info. Okay, so this will give us that, right, which we can then say, right, and then we can just say this um, righty, and I think the issue would be now is something like email. Now I know people will be like, "Whoa, this is so inconsistent," like, what are you doing? Um, okay, let's just do one thing. Let's just check if this is working or not. I just want to make sure that what change I made is not breaking anything. Let's see. Okay, not breaking. Good. Right. Um, righty. So this is a JWT token essentially, token type, and if I know the authentication, the way it's been done, it's yeah. So it returns this token type and the access token in the access token field, and then we can decode it. And yeah, so this is essentially the essentially what we have. So we can say something like payload is equal. Let me just come on top over here, guys. I think I'm listening something. Let me just So what we can do is we can say from JWT. Okay, so from JWT, because we're using JWT over there as well. अब इसमें गलती क्या है? Okay, payload is equal to JWT dot decode, and we have to decode essentially this. And so the way we can decode this message is JWT token, right? Access token. Okay, it's access token, chat. Can the autocomplete when can the autocomplete actually autocomplete, or they're just like joking with me at this point? What's the issue? What's the issue? Huh? Oh my bad. Um, import GPT chat. import JWT. Yeah, so we decode this and we need to provide it with the secret type and algorithm, obviously. And the way I can do that is from app.config import secret by from app.config um, import settings. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that could work. That could work. Settings dot secret can autocomplete. I have to do everything. ना ना आप कुछ करिए ही मत. Autocomplete is not auto completing. Secret key है ना. Secret key है ना. Can the autocomplete call autocomplete? Or I'm like, I'm deserted. I'm deserted. Um, right. This is how it's supposed to work. So JWT token secret key, which essentially that goes over there, and settings or algorithm goes over there, and this returns user ID is an int based on the parenting model and output of the get ID in the DB. 56 भाई इतने आ गए क्या हैं इतने आ गए क्या यूजर्स हैं साला द हेल चैट देख रहे हो आप लोग 56 क्या 58 अरे भाई 59 मतलब क्रॉस 59 तो लेके ही नहीं चल रहा हूँ मैं बाय द वे ये क्लाइंट यील्ड करने के बाद क्लाइंट को हम लोग फिर डेटाबेस से सब चीज़ डिलीट कर रहे हैं ओके एक चीज़ में देखना है टाइप क्या है इसका लेट्स सी इंट है ठीक है उसी बात है तो हम लोग ये कर सकते हैं पेलोड डॉट गेट यूज़र आईडी इज इक्वल टू द यूज़र आईडी द टेस्ट और भाई ऑटो कंप्लीट कुछ करेगा या बस क्या भाई ऑटो कंप्लीट वाले लोग कुछ करो यार यूज़र आईडी वेयर इज इट दिस इज द रीजन व्हाई आई डोंट व्हाट यूज तो हो रहा है ये बेवजह का हाँ व्हाट redefinition of unused settings from the line 10 कहाँ गया line 10 oh my bad shit settings तो पहले से ही used है crazy मैं फिर से यूज़ करता है या इसको हटा दो इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं so um, please work I'll be very happy if this worked it actually worked crazy I think the one thing I would like to print is print payload dot get user id and then print test authorized user id just for my sake मेरे हाथ के तसल्ली के लिए wow crazy so yeah that's the only thing we give as you see in the auth that's the only thing we actually provide other than that's the only information that's given in the GPT token so yeah that works yeah fine yeah that's actually good so yeah I think I think that's a good point. Let's try to run the entire test suite again. That's fine. Okay. Let's do git status, git add, um, added JWT validation and user and assert check for user ID send in JWT and the ID in the DB. Git amend. So I think git amend, no? Right, git amend, yeah. What? It's git amend, right? Git amend, yeah. Oh, okay, my bad. My bad. Spelling same, you know? Oh, it's a flag. My bad, check. My bad. Okay. Git log. Added JD version. Okay. अबे oh, why do I making dumb mistakes, chat? ये क्या हो गया? अरे बाप, एक एम एक्स्ट्रा है ना? अरे भाई स्पेलिंग ही सही नहीं है चीज़ों का. Anyhow, git status, git log, git push. Okay, let's check क्या होता है. I hope my CI/CD runs on this. It will obviously will spend a bit too long in the actual phase of building the image, because as you can see this has been changed. So this is gonna run. That's the longest step, to be honest with you. Great, crazy. So it ran for around 1 minute. Not bad, not bad. Everything is passed also, so that's kind of happy. I'm very happy. Yeah, I think that will be it, guys. I think I might be doing a bit of data limmer as well. So the pro is there has to be like a dark mode. Yeah, anyhow, thank you again for tuning in for another late night fast API session. That was kind of fun. I never thought writing tests would be that fun, but I think seeing the green light is very fun. See you later. With more videos. I think we still have to do the Go Jita Academies that's still left. And yeah, I mean we'll do a bit of C as well. So bye bye.